you can I don't know, like I can I can feel the uncomfortableness. Tension isn't the right word because it's just me. Shit. Episode 7 of the Stro show. I've never said that number in something that I've done that consistently, like on this kind of format. Either way, let's get straight to it. When I started doing the pre-production for this show just a couple days ago, I try and get things in advance so I can give good content. I had a couple different things on the list, and as we got closer to time to film, those things got changed and rearranged, and only one thing became important. So I want to start with George Floyd. When this whole thing started to process for me, at first when I started to hear about it, like, we're kind of, sadly enough, but the truth of the matter is we're desensitized to these kind of things. The shit happens like every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, especially as it starts to get warmer outside, they feel more consistent. When it gets warmer, it's damn near like once a week. So we're here again, and this is after so many other cases, so many recent cases. Ahmad, I don't want to say his last name wrong, so I want to leave it like that. But just case after case after case, you feel desensitized to it almost, sadly enough, especially as a black person. You're like, they got us again. All right. But then as last week continues and it gets heavier and heavier, and the shift in the world, the shift in our country, fuck the world right now, because we were in a whole pandemic and it got real. So the shift that happened over those couple of days, and it makes you look into it. And the first thing that I saw was 8 minutes and 46 seconds. That threw me. I didn't watch the video till like yesterday because I didn't want to watch the video. When something like that happens, I will not watch the video. It's too much. But 8 minutes and 46 seconds just struck out to me. And at first I didn't know where I was really gonna go with this, and I still kind of don't know where I'm gonna go with it. But I know first and foremost where I'm going is rest in peace, George Floyd, Big Floyd. Condolences to his family and anybody affected or felt anything. It's hard. At first when I heard it, I'll be honest, like I said, you're desensitized to it, so you almost feel like this is normal. Like you're expecting to hear this story at some point or another. You're like, okay, here's somebody else that it happened to today. But then the interesting part became when, honestly, I'm trying to gain more information for when I talk about it, because I don't want to be misinformed or whatever, and that was the part I think I kind of avoid when I don't watch the video and things like that. I don't want to get too deeply into it, because for me, when someone's dead, they're dead. Autopsy don't mean shit. Everything else, like, okay, we could find out a reason they're dead, but at the end of the day, when they are gone, that's it. So for me, it's like once you hear that, everything else is by the way. Somebody lost their life. That's the focus. But when it's these kind of things, I can't focus on too much sad stuff and just these kind of things. So I kind of took it for what it was, but then it kept building and building and building. And so as I'm doing, pre-production and everything, I'm like, I have to have my gesture of information as much as I can. So I watched the video. Actually, it wasn't just the video. Somebody that made a very good piece on the video with piecing together all of the videos. It was phenomenal. Strange as that may sound, but I watched that, get information on that, and then just watching Like I shout all the time, just shows like everyday struggle and things like that, and just them talking through it, their experiences. What I love so much is with DJ Academics, how his platform is like mainly about like the bullshit in the hip hop community, which is usually the black community. His content like usually centered around just the bullshit, the dumb shit we do. I liked hearing him say he had to figure out a way to shift kind of the perspective of what was on his platform to this is where we're on right now. I love that. As I get deeper into it, I start to feel it. And that's what I didn't want. And honestly, I didn't know that could still happen. Of you read one of these cases and you read into it and you start feeling that shit because you realize that could so easily be me. There's nothing else we have to change in this situation but put me there, put you there. And that's that. And that thing just makes me think, makes me want to cry, just everything. And even beyond that, when you start to look at the person that's no longer with us, it's almost like like when a song is huge and like the song is fucking like bigger than the person, and you're hearing this name every day and everything going on, and you forget that this person died. Like this person is no longer here. You so quickly forget that because everything else going around, but then you get brought back to that when you start to learn about the person. When you hear that George Floyd, like Steven Jackson says, was like an athlete that didn't get the same opportunities as him. When you start to hear about the stories from people in his community, when you see videos of him actually talking, it creates a person. And you start to feel more and more like you lost a person, like we lost a person, and not just you watched a video and saw an outcome from a video. You connected to a person, and that's what I begin to feel. That's what I'm scared to feel, because it's like, these are lives. How did this happen? And you see it happen, and it fucks you up. And I think for me, I still don't know what I want to say about it, but I know I want to run through just where this started to pick up for me, where I started to pay attention to it. So, in my sophomore year of high school, I was about 16, 16, is when Trayvon Martin happened, when he was sadly taken from us. That was the moment where I started to see things differently. 16, if I can paint the picture a little more, and forget if I paint the picture a little more, but just 16, and you're starting to become what they see as a threat to society, and you don't realize that yet or process that yet, especially because, okay, let's get back to paint the picture, especially if like you live in a town where it's mixed a lot, but quite frankly, it's a suburban town with a lot of black people though. So in that same breath of it maybe being suburban, there's a lot of us here. So it feels different there. And thankfully you maybe grow up with a little bit less of the issues that we encounter in our urban areas, but that still isn't necessarily always an advantage, because it puts you in the position of it takes till you're 16 and this kid that was so close to your age losing his life for you to begin to put into perspective that, that can so easily be me. And I remember when that happened, it was either, I don't I hate to sound misinformed. I hate to sound misinformed, especially on things like this. I don't know if it was actually when it happened or when. Yeah, it was when it happened. And we were in gym class, we were walking on the track, and that was the first time that I heard conversation about it around me. Or first time that I was at least aware enough of the situation to pick up on when the conversation was happening around me. Now, I don't remember exactly what it was, but I just remember it was happening. And it was happening in a group of us black kids walking around the track and talking about this as we just did our walk for gym class. And it just made me feel connected with all of us because maybe I don't know, maybe all didn't like each other, talk to each other all the time, but we had this connection, and it made me also feel like it could have been any one of us, the lighter one, the darker one, the black one. It would have happened to us, and it made me feel like that. And so I remember I'm 16. I started doing music around like 7, 8. So I've been writing for a while. But this was the time where I wanted to write about this situation. I made a song called Shoot First, just talking about the way I felt, talking about just the views of it and everything. And that was the first time that I used my pen for that kind of thing, that I was able to tap into something meaningful for the world. And as I was thinking about, I tapped into it again too. I had to do it again. I think that's part of the point of me saying that part. That was refreshing. You know, I don't want to make this about too much about what I do. My guy's song that I made is very important to this. It'll be out towards the end of the week. As I always say, you'll hear it if you want to hear it. But in any event, as I was thinking about the pre-production for this show, I'm thinking of what am I going to talk about? How am I going to talk about it? How am I going to address it? I was thinking part of it was I have to talk about my own kind of personal experiences in these situations. And at first I'm thinking, well, how many do I have? First I'm thinking, I don't really have that many. And then as I start to think, I'm like, maybe I do. You know, like the first time I maybe encountered something like this was still in, what did I say, my sophomore year? Before, if I didn't say my sophomore year, I meant to say my sophomore year. But the first time I think I've kind of encountered this for myself was in my junior year, when I got into a fight one day. You know, just me and the kid in class. We both having bad days, whatever. So we get into a fight outside the school, and I'm black, he's white. Even further than that, I'm black, he's white. His dad is a police officer. So the police officers that are watching that come to aid the situation, whatever, they know his father. And you know, when you get into a fight at school, you know, your parents got to come, whatever, come get you, a guardian, somebody that can come get you, got to come get you. And when my dad came, he was pissed. Like when he got in there and heard about everything, he was pissed. And I didn't get as much why he was pissed until a little bit afterwards, just because I'm still just mad of being in the situation itself. He was mad about how the situation looked. And how the situation looked is black kid, white kid get into a fight. Police officer rushes over, breaks the fight up. Now the black kid is on the ground in handcuffs in front of the entire school, while the white kid whose dad is a police officer is standing up next to the other police officer watching me get cuffed and brought into the school. My dad was furious because of how that looked. He's like, you had my son pinned to the ground in front of everybody looking like the little nigga getting arrested. It didn't process in my mind like that at the moment because those weren't my experiences. Maybe just in that moment I wasn't thinking of that. I'm still mad. And even until now, I don't know what that was, but I know how that looked. And even in that moment of being mad, I know how I felt. I was feeling like, yo, why the fuck is you doing this to me? We both fighting. I'm the skinny nigga. Why am I handcuffed? I remember feeling like that. When I think about a situation with the police, that's the first one to really come to mind. Another time that I can think of experiencing something like this, which was the first thing that I thought of when I was thinking about my personal experiences, was when me and X were in Miami, like 2015. We both we 19, so we can't get into anything in Miami because it's all like 21 plus. So nighttime, we just kind of walk around, just hanging out. We in like the best spot in the city to like be at, like the best hotel to be at to get to things. So we just like walking around at night, just hanging out, two 19-year-olds trying to find some weed, maybe somebody that could buy some drinks or whatever. I don't think we was really on the drink shit, trying to get somebody to buy some drinks, but just being out there. So we was out there, and it's like 2:00 in the morning. So we're walking back towards our hotel, and around 2:00, I think the clubs are starting to close. They're starting to shut things down. So you're starting to see mad police just in different but close areas. Like this block, okay, a little half block, they're right there. So we're walking back. And as we're walking back, a police car is going slowly like up the street. And I remember looking at it like, this shit's going slow. What the hell is about to happen? And before I could even say anything to X about it, motherfucker, police jump out the car while the car's still rolling, pull the gun out the holster and just pull it on the black dude in the middle of the street on the sidewalk and tell him to get down on his knees. I'm froze because I ain't never seen no shit like that before. Just straight up. As far as the police just hopping on and pulling the strap on it, I'm like, what happened? Because we were a little further behind him, so corner of your eye, you paying attention to what's going on. You see this dude just walking up the street. All of a sudden, they pulling a gun on him. In my mind, and mind you, this is about 2-3 years after the Trayvon Martin situation. So in my mind, I'm like, oh shit, I'm about to see him get killed right now. And second thought is also, oh shit, I hope I'm not next. All this going through my head. I think I'm still walking, but I'm looking. X is like, yo, what the fuck you looking at? Yo, hit this corner. And we hit the corner and we keep it pushing. But even we talked about it, and I asked him, I was like, yo, you ever seen some shit like that before? He's like, no. And he lives in New York by this time. So lived in New York about a year or so. But still, he's like, I never seen nothing like that. But more importantly, he knew how to react to that situation, because even if he said he never seen nothing like that specifically, he was a little more well prepared for it than me. I'll admit, in my younger times, because I was able to grow up more in this suburban area, my dad would move to Springfield, move to Hartford, move to different areas. But at the end of the day, I'm only going there maybe a couple times a weekend. I'm able to leave. And so I don't always have to sit in with everything that's happening there. I was able to get an escape. And just strangely enough, in my mind, going there was my escape. Because, when you're younger, you want to claim the hood, claim the ghetto, whatever. Aside from the point. By that point, I hadn't experienced much like that before. And like to my earlier point, I don't think that's always a good thing, because then you can be the 19, 20-year-old that's always dealt with cops in a good way in his town, and even have the possibility of maybe leaning on your privilege of, and it's interesting to say your privilege as black person, but your privilege of, we're kind of well off around here. So why the fuck are you treating me like this? That can go wrong if you're the 19-year-old, 20-year-old that feels like, Why are y'all busting in on us? Like, another experience was when I was in the studio one time. We was in the studio. I ain't gonna put everybody's shit out there too much, but dude was in there. Dude felt uncomfortable with some other people that was in there, so he called his mom's. Mom called the police. Police pop up at the studio, knock on the door. Everybody get down. It was a studio that, my man's, his uncle, his cousin, they owned it. It was their spot. Everybody go home. What? This ain't something that we just pulling up in or in. It's our spot. Cool. Everybody go home. I think before that I had those last two experiences. So but my point to that is, if you don't have those certain experiences as a black man at an early enough age, when you do, it can get bad. Because you may function like, yo, why the fuck are you doing this to me? And they'll show you. I didn't necessarily intend for this episode to be a long episode or drawn out too much or whatever. I just wanted to, I guess, say my piece on it. And my piece to sum things up is, I'm mad and frustrated just like everybody else. I got two boys to raise in this world, and it's a lot. But by the time you get to 24, it's unsurprising. That's the fucked up part. I'm not 50. I'm not even 30. 24, you realize you're desensitized. You're like, this is how it is. 20, you're like, this is how it is. If you start to learn that this is how it is around 13, 16, and by 18, you're like, this is how it is. It's fucking frustrating. Because us as black people, we can do so much. And to make it a broader thing, every other race, as far as things that they've achieved, every race has achieved something that attributes to what we have going today. And yet we still get treated like this shit the most. It is frustrating. My grandmother, she owns her own accounting business. The past 30 years, black woman, had to put my grandfather as, I think, the owner of the business before at times, because black women couldn't own businesses, get loans, all that kind of stuff. Fought past all of that. I'm at my grandmother's office. I'm putting out the trash in our dumpster. Lady come to me. Are you from around here? Oh no, I'm just checking because I want to make sure. Cool. Honest mistake. It's not the first time she's done it. I'm the only black man that works in my office. Shit, I'll go as far. I think I'm one of the only black men that works in that plaza, aside from the grocery store. You're telling me that you don't recognize me? I recognize you though. I know you are. I wouldn't ask you that. I would mind my damn business. But we don't get that luxury. And as I can think about it, there's so many instances. It don't gotta be with the police. It's just with your encounters with the world that's like, what the fuck? And I know I'm about to end here and I'm gonna just get riled up and not know what to say. But that's what it is. I'm riled the fuck up. But you gotta rile down, because that's the animalistic part that they try and put on us. When we get angry, them niggas turn into niggas and animals, and they are beasts, and they can't control their anger, and you gotta shoot them. It's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. And we are tired of just being like, okay, calming down. Fam, fuck that. Fuck that. Deuce.